I want only thee, Lord, thee only thee. 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 Welcome, friends. Nayaswami Hriman here, broadcasting live from the Camino Hermitage on Camino Island in western Washington. And this is our original writings, teachings of Paramhansa Yogananda. And I have a special one for you today. This is a transcription of a talk he gave as part of a series of talks on the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. The one I've selected is class number 8 on the subject of Gyana Yoga. And I want to read his opening quote, although I think he wrote it, but anyway. December 10th, 1943, in the midst of World War II, he wrote, "The calmer you grow, the more you will see the reflection of the universe within you. If you keep your will free and unprejudiced, you will find intuitive strength." I'm going to repeat that. The calmer you grow, the more you will see the reflection of the universe within you. If you keep your will free and unprejudiced, you will find intuitive strength. Okay. Well, he goes right away into something that we now know from scientific discovery and investigation. He says, you think you see and hear, but the rates of vibration of sound and light and really all the 5 senses, including fragrance and so forth, is very, very limited to the construction of the human body and what we can see and hear. He says, that is why Jesus said, "Seeing ye see not, hearing ye hear not." He was speaking of a scientific fact. Isn't that interesting? The other world, the greater world of the subtle body, the greater world of the astral world, the world of energy and vibration, he says, is most beautiful. This world is ugly compared to it. The other world is the real world, and this world is a very poor imitation of that other world. The other world, the astral world, is much bigger than this one. Now here's what's interesting. He says the colors blue and gold are nearest to the divine color. The colors blue and gold are nearest to the divine color. Don't really know what the divine color is, but they are the highest vibration of color. And so this world is ugly here, he repeats, and 1,000,000 angels are passing here right now, and you don't see them. We are all blind as a bat because our eyes are spoiled by the gross visible light, let's say, of our sun, that blinds us to the subtler, more beautiful light of the astral world. He says the greatest thing is this, our 6th sense, the sense of intuition. And that is opened by concentration here at the spiritual eye, between the 2 eyes. That is the eye that has not yet been open. We see and hear a little bit, but we cannot hear the loudest sounds. And he goes on to say there are wonderful fragrances which our sense of smell cannot catch. Now listen up to this one. He says the body gives off an odor of sandalwood or rose, but we cannot smell it. Now he tells a sort of an interesting story here. So he says, I was praying deeply once, but because I had been so busy that I forgot God, and my heart was very sad, and I was ready to leave the work I do because I was not thinking of God. And then I heard a voice saying, "Don't go. I thought to myself that I had only imagined the voice. In this story, Yogananda is really testing the spirits, as Jesus said. He's well, you'll see. Okay. I thought to myself I had only imagined the voice. Then the voice said again, "What do you want?" I said, "I want to see Krishna and Christ with all their disciples walking on a sea of gold." And just as I thought that, I saw them coming with their disciples on a sea of gold. I could see them with my open eyes, Krishna, and that beautiful face. In those eyes, the whole world was trembling at their command. But I was still arguing violently, but silently. I said, "That is not true. I won't believe it. If this vision can be seen by the person here who is in this room, then I will believe." Just then, as I thought that, the other person jumped up and cried, "Oh, I see Christ and Krishna." But still Yogananda would not give up. Still I thought, that is thought transference. God likes to argue with you, but he doesn't like skeptics, he wrote in parentheses. As long as you doubt, he will not come, but if you persist, he will. Then the voice said, "That is real." But I was in a playful mood with God, and I said, "I want some proof that you came here." So the voice said, "A lotus fragrance will be left in the room." I couldn't say a word. God had granted my wish. Then all night long I meditated and apologized to God for doubting him. The fragrance, however, was left in the room as proof of his presence. Then these are actual things. Then he tells a story of what he did a couple of times. It's a very strange story. In his school in Ranchi, India, before he came to America, he had the psychic power. He would tell a boy, let's say he was being naughty, to put his hands up against the wall of a building. And the boy's hand would be stuck there. He couldn't move because Yogananda used psychic power. Let's say the boy was being naughty and he wanted him to stay put as maybe a punishment. But then he tells a humorous story. He said, "I have given this demonstration in America. One day in St. Louis, I was lecturing, and people were moving back and forth in the front row and the back row." Can you imagine? He said, "Will you please stay where you are?" And they couldn't, and suddenly they couldn't move their feet. It is the magnetic current that does this. He says, you see, there are many forces in nature that we don't see or have control. We are blind because our senses are so limited in what they can perceive. If you look up at the stars, you don't see much. You need a high-powered telescope. The same thing with intuition, the sixth sense. These physical senses are dead by comparison. They have no power at all. But our intuitive sense is greater than anything. Recently, he said, I had a great experience. It was about 4 a.m. I looked about me and said to myself, this is not real. As I said that, the whole room became a moving mass and a beam of light fell on my body. And as it did so, the body lost all weight. So then, having given these somewhat humorous stories, then he goes on, really the rest of this article on Gyana Yoga from Patanjali. He talks with great intensity about the need for, he says, in meditation and in Kriya Yoga, there must be 2 things, intensity and continuity of that intensity. Before you sit to practice, you must start the right way. Posture is most important. The body must be straight. Don't play with it. Just get steady and then forget it. And then when you start, ask the blessing of God. Pray to him several times in your own language or in the language of my whispers from eternity. Then your mind is ready. Then do your meditation, do your Kriya. Do it slowly until you feel peace stirring within you. I want my students to be so advanced that wherever they go, they can commune with God and help others to commune with him. But first coax God in meditation again and again very deeply. Okay. Some people practice day after day without much attention, and that's better than doing nothing. But after doing your meditation and your Kriya, Then sit long and pray again. Burn the ether with your prayer. That is the kind of prayer you should do. Give Divine Mother a soul call. Okay, and then she can come in any form you desire. Then he tells a story about Ram Prasad, who is a great bhakti in the medieval period. And one time he was trying to make a fence, but he didn't have any wood, and he was very deeply devoted to Divine Mother. And he said, Divine Mother, where can I find wood? Then suddenly there came toward him walking an old woman with some bamboo sticks and poles, who offered them to him. The saint began to sing to Divine Mother. He didn't know that she had taken the form of the old woman to help him. The old woman asked him why he was singing. He said, I'm singing to Divine Mother. But what about me, she said. He replied, oh, I thank you very much. He did not understand at first that Divine Mother was right in front of him in that form. But just as soon as he looked at her, as he said, I'm very thankful to you, she was gone. And then he realized who had been helping him. Okay. It says, don't seek phenomena, seek God. Pray intensely. Burn up the ether. Let's see. Some say you can find it by taking a truth and meditating on it, but you can't know truth by a series of continuous thought experiences. So he's talking about Gyana Yoga. He never talks straight up like you and I do. What he's saying is that Gyana Yoga is not about truth precepts, about scriptural teachings, or about ideas or thoughts. It's about the direct experience based on intensity of concentration, especially here at the spiritual eye, when you go beyond thought. Okay? Listen to the truth of the scriptures. Be one with it. Be intense in your meditation. Don't look at your watch. Intensely pray. Every day you should go deeper and deeper. Okay. All right, let's just see here. Okay, a few more things. When you're alone, especially at night, give an hour or two and pray intensely, just as if you were talking directly to God. God is not up in the heavens. He says he's right here listening to you. He has to listen to you. I like that one. This is the way to find him. Whatever time you have, meditate. That will get you further than sitting 3 hours with a mind wandering. If you want to be Christ-like, just a little bit of intensity won't do. You have to meditate deeply. You should meditate deeply once a week. Saturday or Sunday will do, he writes, for 5 hours or longer. Do a little bit of Kriya, then do the other techniques, and pray in between, and keep this up until you feel the bliss within. You think it's difficult. It's not. It's more interesting than anything else in the world. 3 or 4 hours I can sit and I don't know any time at all. Same thing is with wisdom. You must plan how you are proceeding toward God. I don't know why he says that. That is called Gyana Yoga. Okay, that's an interesting statement. But anyway, he says, I don't know how people spend their time playing cards, watching movies, how people kill the time. Time is so precious, and we have so far to go. We have gone away from our home. This here is the Hades. It is not God's pleasure to see us thrown into this world with suffering, disease, and death. There is no other Hades. This is the Hades. So develop your spiritual consciousness. Keep your wisdom awake. There are 3 kinds of sleepers. The one kind sleeps all the time. You wake them up, and they just fall back asleep. And then there are some sleepers in that category who don't even wake up at all. Another kind responds a little bit, but he just goes from one thing to the other. He doesn't pay much attention. He talks without practicing. The second kind of sleeper makes every motion to wake up, but soon he falls asleep again. And the third kind jumps right out of bed, dresses, and is ready. That's the kind of person I like. Once they hear this wisdom, they never sleep again. I want you to always be like that. Then he goes on, I'm going to end now. He says, remember that theoretical knowledge is dangerous. I guess that puts me in a pretty precarious situation here. But that's what he wrote. He says, the company you keep is the most important thing of all. Isn't that interesting? After all this intensity, he says, the company you keep. You ask people about God and they'll each give you a different version. That's because they don't know directly. The greatest knowledge of life is to find God and solve the mystery of your existence in breathlessness, which is deathlessness. Well, that's a pretty intense lesson, my friends, but I think it's what we need today, don't you? Okay, today's Thursday. Tomorrow, Padma will be back at noon, broadcasting, and then these recordings are posted on YouTube and Facebook and on our website. Okay, joy to you.